to call the regular City Council meeting for the City of Temple City to order. Madam City Clerk, may we get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Sternquist? Here. Councilmember Vizcarra?
Here.
Councilmember Yu?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Chavez?
Here.
Mayor Mann?
Here.
Mayor Mann, the city attorney would like to report out from your closed session.
Thank you. I would like to ask our city attorney, Mr. Greg Murphy, to report out on the City Council's closed session.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. After a briefing on the real property matter, specifically concerning price and conditions of payment, the City Council did reiterate its direction of last meeting, unanimous direction to, if the transaction is not consummated, to have the city manager and city prosecutor's office take all necessary action up to and including a receivership under the code enforcement that has been stayed or delayed while this transaction is moving forward. That was the direction given, and that is my report. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Tonight, for the invocation, we have the pleasure of Pastor Kelty providing the invocation. Please rise for the invocation and remain standing afterwards for the pledge.
For sure, yeah. Check with Peggy, but I appreciate that. Thank you much. Our divine Creator, the City Council of the City of Temple City, its staff, and we observers have gathered this evening to conduct the business of this city. We do so in all humility, knowing that though what we may do may be a small part, it will have a positive or negative effect upon the future. And so it is our prayer this evening that it might indeed be a positive for this city and for the future. It is for this reason, too, that we seek your guidance in what we do, that indeed we might have the wisdom and diligence for the betterment of the community. We know that we are all human and are prone to think of ourselves first and others second. So it is that we ask for your Spirit to keep with us, to correct our path, so that the council might be able to provide the leadership that would keep this city moving forward in a path that would be the best for all concerned. We do not know what the future holds for us, but it is our hope and desire that future generations will look upon this in a positive manner, that because of all of us, we will become something of a better community for all of its citizens. That we ask in all humility. Amen.
Amen. Next, Deputy Bowie will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
If I could have everyone face the flag, place your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tonight, we have no ceremonial matters, so we move on to the next item, which is public comments on items not listed on the agenda. The council will now hear public comments on items not listed here. Tonight, we have 2 speaker request forms. First, I'd like to call up Chrissy Sanchez. If you could please come up to the podium.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi, good evening.
I'm going to take my mask off so everyone can hear me. My name is Chrissy Sanchez. I work for the YWCA of San Gabriel Valley. You may have heard about us. We do lots of programming for all persons in the household. And in my department, we do programs for seniors age 60 and up. We do hot meal programs, frozen meal programs, and lots of case management programs. I'm coming here today because I am happy to invite you all to an event that we are hosting at the Live Oak Community Center on December 6th in collaboration with LACHA, Los Angeles Alliance for Community Health and Aging. We hope to have a technology pop-up for our seniors that arrive to the hot meal program that we offer there. It will be on December 6th at 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. and we would love to have you as our esteemed guests. And we would love to offer opportunity for volunteers, if you know of any, to have volunteers over to assist our seniors. The goal is for our seniors to bridge the gap between the youth and the elderly and aid in a digital desert. Many seniors don't have access to their internet or have access to sustainable ways of using their cell phone or technology, yet they do. And we hosted a survey with them, and 37% of the seniors actively are searching for people to help them with their technology. And 29% of the seniors are actually seeking assistance, but they're so nervous that they don't know how to ask. That is all for today. Thank you so much for listening. And I have sent over with the city clerk a folder with the flyer as well as a few of our resources. And my direct contact information will be in the sachet. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any questions?
I have a question.
Mayor Pro Tem.
So have you reached out to our Parks and Rec department or the city itself regarding volunteers? Because that would probably be the best source. I don't know, city manager, if maybe Adam could look into that as far as, I mean, you haven't formally, it sounds like, other than just maybe reserving this area for this event, there has been no partnership with the city or anything
No
like that?
partnership with the city, no.
Okay.
It is an event that we're hosting before our lunch program, but we
Okay.
would love to have a partnership with the
Well,
city.
they do have volunteers for that, so I don't know,
Okay.
maybe you can contact city manager and he can direct you to who to best, because I think this would probably, because our senior lunch program is run by Parks and Rec.
Oh,
So-
yes. And in partnership.
Okay, yeah, okay, so that would be the best thing, and I would love to come if I can get off of work, but, yeah.
I know,
that
it's a
sounds
little
like a really
early.
nice event. In fact, I may even use your assistance with, I'm a little challenged myself.
I understand.
And that's on a Wednesday, right?
Yeah, it's a
Is it?
It is on a
Yeah.
Wednesday,
Okay.
yes.
You were talking about technology challenge.
Yeah, I am taking out
Just,
technology.
just technology.
A little bit, well, other challenges too. but- All right.
Yes, thank you so much for listening today.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions?
Good luck.
Any other questions?
No, thank you.
I just wanted to ask, well, I know there was, up at where Aldi is, there was a long, long line of people, and they were giving away like coupons to get free cell phones.
Mhm.
Will there be an opportunity for?
Not this time
assisting?
around? I'm so
Okay.
sorry.
No,
I
no,
took
so has there been in the past to help people get cell phones or?
So we are piloting this with the YWCA and LACHA. LACHA has only hosted 2 other technology pop-ups in the past, and we brought it here to San Gabriel Valley because we have a partnership. We won't be giving away free cell phones. It's more of a bring your own device.
Okay.
Yes, I'm so sorry for cutting you off, by the way.
Thank you.
And also, just one more thing, if I may.
Yes.
Sure.
We also have a, I don't know if we think we still do a committee on aging, don't we? We still have that?
Oh, yeah, that-
So that might be a reach out as well for future events or things, because, you know, you have the kind of the same audience in mind, so. So we do have a separate committee that meets and looks for things to do on behalf of the city for our seniors as well. So
Oh.
another source of perhaps to look into.
Well, thank you very much. I would
All
love
right.
to get more information on that. Thank you.
Yeah, just
Thank
to
you for coming.
follow up, if
Councilmember
I
Lee.
may, on Mayor Pro Tem's comment here. Yeah, this December 6th is pointless, right? And
Yes.
how do you advertise this event? Do you, because like the Mayor Pro Tem's mention of our committee on aging, then maybe the city can, I don't know, we have resources to let our seniors know. And I don't know how you plan on advertising this to the community.
For sure. So for Temple City lunch program, we average at around 100 seniors per day.
This is a lunch program you're
It's
doing.
a lunch program,
Okay, so
yes.
it's more set up perhaps for them as well, then, I guess.
Yes,
Okay.
and we would also love to, we would love to open the doors for more seniors to come by and have a meal.
Of course.
We offer Chinese food to assist with the community, since Chinese is a huge demographic of seniors here in Temple City. And it is 5 days a week at 11 a.m. They offer a meal that is approved by the county, and we average at around 100 to 105 people per day in Temple City alone. We offer about 22 different senior centers across San Gabriel Valley. So what we're hoping is that with this pilot of an event, we can host more technology pop-ups in the future. Yes.
Brian, who's running that program right now, the lunch program for the city?
It's YW's.
I know, but I mean the staff.
Ruby.
Oh, Ruby's doing it? Okay.
I have spoken to Ruby.
Okay, good.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Ruby and Sami are good to go.
All right. Well, thank you so much for the invitation and
Thank you.
for coming here tonight.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next, we have Mr. Steve Stafford.
Is Greg still on the line? Oh, yes.
Mayor Mann, Mayor Pro Tempore Chavez, council members. Every day my street doesn't get paved, it gets worse and worse. It's very hard to get the dumpsters out in the street. There are places in this city where those dumpsters should not be in the street, like Golden West, south of Live Oak, where you have that turn. I mean, I hit one myself today, trying to make the turn. It gets narrower there. Arcadia did this. They made in places like that, put those trash cans on top of the curb, not in the street. This should have been done in the first place, because there's a lot of places where it's very narrow when those dumpsters go out in the street. And in Athens, when they dump them, they leave them about the width of this podium or better out in the street. They don't put them back to the curb. And that's becoming a problem. And I'd like to see some changes, some improvements to the Athens contract and what the time frame is on paving my street. It's coming apart at the gutter. You have a gutter, and then you have gravel. Having gravel like that could cause somebody to slip out if somebody has to put on their brakes for a kid in the street or anybody in the street. It's just plain dangerous. It's the whole street everywhere around is coming apart. You know, we should have pavement, not gravel. Thank you.
Can I ask a real quick
Yes,
question?
sure.
So this is the second time you've gone up to tell us. Brian, have we sent anybody out there to take a look at these complaints or these allegations? Or can we send somebody out there?
So we can send somebody out again.
Okay, thank you.
And Brian, if you can also just double check the street against the recently
Certainly, sir.
approved. So we have a list of programs that our city engineer has recommended.
Certainly,
And
absolutely.
we can get back to you on that one.
Thank you.
All right, is there anyone else who would like to address the city council at this time? All right, seeing none, I will close public comments. Next, we move on to the consent calendar item. All items can be approved in a single motion unless there is an item that council would like to pull.
Mayor Mann, I would like to pull item D.
Okay. Item
Did
D.
you want to pull that too, or?
No, no.
Oh, yeah, I was going to pull item D, but if we can
Councilmember
approve.
I'm good.
Okay, so item D is pulled. May we have a motion for the remaining items first?
I move the remaining items.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
And a second. Madam City Clerk, may we get a roll call vote on that, please?
Councilmember Sternquist,
Yes?
Councilmember Viscara,
Yes.
Councilmember Yu,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Chavez,
Yes.
Mayor Mann.
Yes. So we have item 7D, and I'll turn it over to you, Mayor Pro Tem Chavez.
Thank you, Mayor Mann. The reason I pulled this item was not because I disagree with what's stated, because we do this every year, obviously, and the city is, residents are pretty used to that. You know, for me, the driving force behind this whole relaxation of the parking enforcement is to take into account the many relatives, friends, and even children who come back into town during this holiday season and give them a little bit of a break on the overnight parking. We've been doing it for a number of years. And the reason I brought this up was that some of you may have gotten that same email that I got during the week from the city of Arcadia. And they have actually decided to relax the overnight parking enforcement for this Thanksgiving week, beginning on Monday through Sunday. And when I read it, I thought, well, you know, that's a good idea. I mean, some of the thinking behind that also is that I'm sure many people, I know I've talked to a lot of people where their children are coming back from college for the Thanksgiving weekend and things like that. And I thought that wouldn't be a bad idea. Now, obviously, it raises other issues regarding notice, things like that. I think that we could overcome that. Whether or not we want to do that, I just kind of want to throw that out there, maybe for discussion. And I don't know, Greg, I don't know if it's proper to discuss that particular change and put it in with this, or we should need to bring that back as a separate agenda item.
No, I mean, it's this weekend. The recommendation from staff is what it is, but the council always has the option to modify the staff recommendation. So if the council does wish to relax parking enforcement from, say, tomorrow through Sunday or tomorrow through, you know, Monday morning, that's certainly within your rights. You would just adopt that by motion, you know, accepting staff's recommendation as amended, and you can go with that. That's not a problem at all.
Well, let me ask our city manager, from a logistics standpoint, what would be the possible hurdles to overcome, or how would we go about, in your mind, accomplishing that? I know that Arcadia, for some reason, I'm always getting Arcadia notices. I don't know if I'm on their Nixle, or does anybody else get those? I'm always getting it. It comes from the law enforcement side of Arcadia. I don't know why I'm getting them, but I do quite a bit.
Actually, I do get those.
Do you get those? Yeah.
I get that too.
So I don't know if we have a similar type of notice that we could send out to people if we did do something like that. But
If that was the direction of the council, we would send out a Nixle notice, we would send out something on our social media, and then we would send out something within the sheriff station, the kiosk, and on our online portal as well.
So right now, people can buy overnight parking here at our kiosk.
Correct.
They can go into City Hall during the business hours, and they can still go to the sheriff department as well.
Yes.
Okay.
Or they can do online.
And they could do it
And they can
online.
do it online, of course, yeah, so.
We would just have to shut that down, make sure the sheriff's department is notified, and then we're down some code enforcement folks right now, or excuse me, parking enforcement folks, so we would just make sure they knew.
Well, since we're down, we may not be giving as many tickets out since we don't have as
That's
many.
one challenge.
No, I mean, but I mean, that would lessen the burden of the.
On the staff side, yes.
So Mayor Pro Tem, are you suggesting something like starting tonight to
Well, I
the
think
end of the
starting
weekend?
tomorrow probably, because that's when it would, tonight it's a little late for that.
Yeah, we
probably.
would start
People have probably already
12:01
purchased it.
Thursday
Yeah.
morning.
Over on Thursday, okay.
Until maybe Monday morning.
So then we would go till 12, so then we would restart 12:01 on
Monday.
on that Tuesday,
On
actually.
Tuesday, yeah, okay. So whatever allows them the time to do that. I mean, I just throw it out for discussion. I just thought it would be a good idea, a good gesture. I think people would appreciate it and, you know, and still go with our regular relaxation in December. That would be fine. And then maybe next year when we have a little bit more heads up, maybe look at it and kind of bundle it all together. Another thing, although it's kind of related and also related to parking enforcement on overnight parking, it was just brought to my attention, I don't know if the rest of you realize it, but You can purchase overnight parking for 3 consecutive days at City Hall and at the kiosk, but you can't do it online. If you go online, you can only purchase it for 1 night at a time. So let's say you had 2 or 3 nights, you have to go back every day and repurchase. And I just thought, maybe, not for tonight, but at some point, we may want to take a look at that and see if we can clean that up, because I think it should be consistent. Because I know people have always asked me, and you say, how come I can only buy 1 night at a time? And I think, well, that's just the online version. I think other venues, they can. I believe they can go into the sheriff and purchase 3 consecutive nights, can't they? Or is it
Yes, sir.
just- Yeah, so it's just a little different. But anyway, I just throw that out there. I don't know if anybody else feels that, we would want to do that or not do it.
Councilmember Sternquist, any thoughts?
No, I think it's a good plan to have.
Okay.
And if we don't have to wait, it's better yet.
Sure. Thank you. Councilmember Viscara?
I have no problem with it.
Councilmember Yu?
Yeah, I would agree, and I don't think short notice is a problem, but because when people start trying to buy tickets and they found out they couldn't, they would know.
They would be happy.
Right.
I think we would put a sign on the kiosk maybe or something like that.
I think
We'll
that's
do,
what
we'll
we
do social media, Nixle, and on signage.
There's probably a lot of people doing a 4- and 5-day holiday and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, then I guess Mayor Pro Tem, would you like to make a motion with the dates?
Yeah, so I would make a motion that we add to item D, or Greg, we can just add this to item D, correct?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so we would add to item D for the relaxation overnight parking to include the dates beginning November, then would it be November 22nd, Brian?
Yes, it would begin November 22nd at 12:01 a.m.
All right, so November 22nd.
No, sorry, November 23rd at 12:01 a.m.
November 23rd at 12:01 a.m.
And reinstated at the
November
28th at 12:01 a.m.
So reinstate November 28th at 12:01 a.m. So we'll add that to item D.
Okay, so that item has been added. Are there any objections? Okay, so then, do we
So
need a second for
Yeah,
that?
so I
I'll
would go ahead
second
and
it.
motion that we now, as amended, item D.
Okay,
for
so
approval.
I'll
there's-
second that.
there's a motion and a second for the amendment to 7D. If there's no objections, may we have a roll call vote on amended 7D, please?
Councilmember Sternquist,
Yes?
Councilmember Viscara,
Yes.
Councilmember Yu,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Chavez.
Yes,
Mayor Mann.
Yes,
thank you.
and thank you for bringing up that
Yeah, thank
suggestion,
you. You're
Mayor Pro Tem. Next, we move on to our public hearing, which we have none. Unfinished business, we have none. New business 10A, adoption of resolution number 23-5712, casting votes for a candidate to represent cities without prescriptive water pumping rights on the board of the San Gabriel Basin Water Quality Authority. And I'll turn it over to our city manager, Brian Cook.
Thank you, Mayor Mann and members of the council. The Water Quality Authority, this is non-pumping rights, meaning those agencies, including us, that do not have water rights that we utilize but are part of this larger basin. They're represented on this board. You have 2 candidates, and there's weighted voting based on your population. There are 2 candidates that are seeking your vote. Mayor Pro Tem Margaret Clark from the city of Rosemead and Mayor Pro Tem Valerie Munoz from the city of La Puente.
Brian,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
they're listed as if both are running, and Ms. Munoz called me to tell me to please share that Maggie Clark wants to be the alternate, and Valerie the delegate.
So that's the question I have. Are we supposed to vote for one of these persons as the board member and then one as an alternate? Or are we supposed to just place a vote for one of them and then whoever gets the most votes becomes the board member and the other one with the less amount of votes becomes the alternate? How does that work?
Double check the request in the form of the resolution. And It says casting for one the request from the governing body says they're requesting votes for one candidate.
Okay. So the other one would, since they're the only two, the other would be the alternate.
Is that how it works?
Well, the resolution doesn't say that.
What?
The resolution does not say that.
But that's how it's been in the past.
Who,
when we
who
did
is
it.
our current,
Valerie.
Valerie is the current board member? Okay.
Yeah, she's the one that occasionally comes to our meetings as the
Right, right, right.
representative to
And I
discuss.
believe currently Maggie is the
Yes.
alternate.
That's correct.
So then, if it was our vote to basically keep the same intact, our vote here tonight would be for Valerie Munoz.
Correct.
Okay, and then by default, the alternate would be Maggie Clark, I'm assuming.
Yeah, since there's only 2
Yeah,
nominations.
and there's 2 spots to fill.
Correct.
Okay. What's the stipend on that, you know?
I think it's $150, but I'm not positive.
big deal. Unless it's $150 an hour, but. Yeah. I don't think it is.
I don't know, maybe it's gone up.
Well, I know Valerie Munoz has come here before, and Maggie Clark used to come as well, but probably stopped since she's no longer the board member.
Any other questions from City Council? No? All right, then I will open this for a public comment. Is there anyone from the public who would wish to address the council on this item? All right, seeing none, I will close public comment. Any final council thoughts or discussions? We'll start with Councilmember Sternquist.
No.
No? So you're.
Keep it the same.
Keep it the same?
Sure.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem,
No further comments, thank you.
Councilmember Yu?
No further comments. I'm just reading the letter here from the board. It did say each city may cast their vote for only one,
Yeah.
so,
So that's,
So-
hence,
so-
hence the resolution
right.
is written that way. Okay,
So I agree with everything been discussed.
okay. Councilmember Viscara?
Is somebody gonna nominate one of them, or what? Yeah, we have to still do
Yeah,
the
yeah,
motion.
we'll get there. Just saying if you
That
have
was
any
my only
thoughts.
question.
Okay. All right, then I concur, and okay, may we have a motion for this?
Mayor, I would make a motion, we adopt resolution 235712, casting the city's votes to represent City of Temple City and other cities in the San Gabriel Basin without prescriptive pumping rights, and instruct the city clerk to complete the resolution, the vote being for
Valor.
Valerie Munoz.
Okay. We have a motion? Motion and a second by Councilmember Viscara. Any objections? Seeing none, may we have a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Sternquist?
Yes.
Councilmember Viscara?
Yes.
Councilmember Yu?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Chavez?
Yes.
Mayor Mann?
Yes. All right. Next, we move to item 10B, additional community public safety programming. And we will have City Manager Cook start us off.
Thank you, Mayor Mann and members of the council. At your last law enforcement meeting, the council spoke of, along the lines of the community-based policing approach that we've taken over the years, including a very robust neighborhood watch program, and some of the other extra programming that we've done over the years, come up with some ideas of some other programming that we'd like to do, and see if that was something that the council would like to consider. In the past, we have done the Ring program, but that was right at the infancy of when the Ring was developed. And if you looked at Amazon Prime Day or Black Friday, it's $50 if you want to get it. So that subsidy is not as much of an incentive as it was before.
Wait, they're $50 to purchase a new ring?
You can get, sorry,
'Cause whenever I've
I'm
gone-
admitting that I'm a Amazon Prime member right now.
Well-
But yeah, it was $50 for.
Really, because when I went onto Amazon, when I was looking for a ring, an additional ring, they were $300, $400, $500.
That's for the larger systems.
All right, so
So-
they're now advertising some type
We
of
when we
ring product.
subsidized the program at first, it was for the smaller system.
Yeah, I think
when they were
I think it
about
was
$150 to
We
$100. So
gave $100 to each person.
So we didn't, and we can always bring that, and the other thing is that was when before Ring was purchased by Amazon and they were going through those promotions. So the last time we had done it, Amazon had purchased it, and not that Amazon is bad in terms of being a partner, it was just a little more challenging in terms of that. So we didn't bring that forward as an option.
Are there other products similar to the Ring that maybe we could look at?
There are other products, but again, the cost differential of what you can get now versus what the cost was maybe 5 or 6 years ago is there's not as much bang for the buck in terms of what we're providing the public. Hence, why we didn't recommend anything on a subsidy from a subsidy standpoint. 2 areas. Well, I'll start with for the first one. One area that we've been hearing from the community on is their concern is identity theft. The sheriff will be doing a cyber security seminar in about a week and a half or so as well. But we thought that an identity theft seminar where we would actually register, in particular seniors and others, about some of the tools that they can use and have a special sheriff's personnel and other experts help them walk through what they need to do in their home, what they need to do online, all the things that they need to do. And on top of that, provide a shredding day so that somebody who, an individual has a lot of paperwork that they want to dispose of and they can do it securely and safely. We thought we would kind of combine both. They'd get the educational seminar and then they would schedule a day to do the community shredding. The shredding.
It wouldn't be at the same event?
We would try. The general idea is that some of the individuals are being educated on that, and we would help them figure that out. But
figure out what to shred, what not to shred.
Exactly. So help them understand what documents are vulnerable if left out or just left in the trash or anything else for identity theft. So what we'd like to actually move forward with that as a potential program as well, if it's the desire of the council to do that. Rough estimate on cost is probably about $5,000 or so between bringing out specific experts, some sheriff personnel, and the shredding company as well. And then the other item, which
before you go to the other,
sure.
If I may have Mayor Manager a question. So this seminar would be a standalone, wouldn't be part of our neighborhood watch or anything like that?
No, we would do it as a standalone.
And when would be the rollout date, do you think? How soon could we do that?
I was thinking sometime in February.
Okay. I think the sooner the better. And then also, what was I gonna do? I was gonna ask, but I think that's a good thing. Oh, I know. So there's cybersecurity. I know I have that on my calendar, which is in the middle of December, I believe.
Yes.
Is that for the community as well, or is that just for, was my understanding that was just for staff and
No, that's
council?
an initiative that LASD took on its own with its cybercrime experts.
And is that gonna be at Live Oak Park?
That's going to be at Live Oak Park, yes.
Okay.
And that's open to the public?
That's wide open to the public. This, we would really want it specifically tailored towards our senior community and very specialized training for identity theft, along with, helping them so that, and we would actually want to register this because we'd figure out a way for people to be registered for it. We'd work through our senior programs that we have existing right now, so that they have a comfort level as well.
Well, and that's why I suggest, similar to what we heard tonight on the YWCA, seems like they're kind of working together.
Yeah, we would work with
regarding the
YWCA
senior and the
as
senior
well.
lunch program. So something like this would make more sense if it was kind of in concert with something like that.
Yeah.
Rather than hosting it at 8 o'clock at night or something where.
No, we would
How they gonna get
find
there?
the right time and everything else to do that. So that's one program we'd like to initiate. The other program we'd like to reinitiate is the catalytic converter etching. We found that pretty successful throughout. I know it's a little frustrating because it doesn't necessarily catch criminals, but it's roughly around $3,000 to do that etching program.
Deputy Bowie's waiting to get out there.
He's done the etching himself.
Yeah, I know he has.
So even though catalytic converter thefts have gone down, in Temple City most recently, but we thought the 2 times we've done it, it's been very successful.
That's because of electric cars.
There's several factors that are out there, but we thought that was a program to reinitiate.
Do you mind, I know it's kind of out of line, maybe we might put him on the spot. I'd like to hear from Deputy Boo if he doesn't mind around what his feelings are on this etching program, if you don't mind. I mean, just briefly, you know, what do you think the good and the good thing about this is, and is it worth bringing back? I'm sure, I think I know the answer to that, but.
So
I'd like
it
to
is
hear
a
from
good thing. It's a sense of safety for everyone that believes that when we do catch them, we do have a way to catch somebody. So it is another tool that we can use to help, you know, catch these criminals when we can. And it gives the community a sense of security that, you know, we are doing something that they can hopefully help catch these criminals.
And I believe the turnout for that, I think we've done it twice, haven't we?
Yes, sir. And
The
we've
turnout
had
has been pretty good for that, I believe.
about 180 to 190 both times.
Wow.
And that was over not very many hours, I don't think, was it?
I believe it's about 4 to 5 hours,
Okay.
if I recall.
Deputy, is there anything else, any other devices such as the flock cameras that you would like to see that maybe we're not thinking about instead of a program, maybe something to assist you that, I don't know, might be similar in cost?
The flock camera has helped us in many different ways for investigation views for other criminal activity as well. It's a very, very great tool that we have as well.
Is there anything else that would be a supplement to that to aid in what you're, you know?
I can get back
Outdoing
to you, ma'am. We can get back to you. We'll get together with our team and we'll figure something, a good collective idea that we can, different options that we can give you.
You know, I ran across, I don't know if anybody else saw that, I can't remember if I saw it online or if it was in the newspaper. The city of Pasadena apparently has this program, where it's a sound listening thing where they can hear if bullets are fired. Are you familiar with that program? Where if there's a shooting somewhere in the city, they have this setup where they can respond to that particular area pretty much immediately because they know that those are indicative of gunshots going off. Are you familiar with that at all? I had never heard of it, but it sounded interesting, and I guess it's been used for about the last year, and I don't know if that's new technology. I mean, you know, I'm always at home and I hear things going off. You don't know whether they're gunshots or they're firecrackers. And apparently this program is able to tell the difference between those.
I do know the program, but I've never actually did any research on it.
Yeah,
For it.
so maybe that's something we can look into. I don't know that that's as prevalent. I mean, Pasadena, I hate to say it, but they do get a lot of gunshots and they're a much bigger city than we
I
are.
don't think we get many gunshots.
Well, I know, but how many is too many? One? I mean, I would like to see what that program's all about and what it costs. And, you know, for example, if it's not too costly, we can set it up. If it saves one life or whatever, then obviously it's worth it. But, you know, maybe, I had just heard about it today and I forgot to mention it to Brian in preparing for this report, but maybe that's, to Cindy's questions, maybe there's something there too to look at. I don't know. It sounds like a pretty revolutionary program. But.
Yeah, but if I could just add, I like Councilmember Sternquist's idea. If flock cameras, like Deputy Boo is saying, is so helpful, how about having more? I mean, we put, I forgot how many camera we installed last
We
time.
have two, don't we?
No, we
Four
have
or
over 16
Oh,
cameras.
16.
What? Okay, well, maybe we can have 32.
The staff did pick, and that takes care of intersections. So we'll double check on how many intersections we have covered with our flock cameras, but we can come back and say, here's some that we made a decision on when we came to you with a recommendation to say, hey, if we wanted to add some more, here's some more that we could add in the future.
I like the idea of the community engagement for the seniors, doing programs to help them with security. And I don't know if it was you, Tom, recently, but someone just told me that they went into, to show an open house. And one of the rooms, it was the first day the house was gonna be on the market, and she went early and took a client, and there was a room with just embossing credit cards, blank credit cards, and with a list of names, and there were thousands of them. I don't think it was Temple City, it might have been Arcadia, but I thought, we have to be so careful now whenever we use our credit cards or order something
turn them in?
online.
I hope you turn it.
Identity theft is growing and growing. I think it's.
Sorry.
Where you really, I think that's a good area to hit, whatever we can do to prevent. And unfortunately, most of those persons who are scammed by those types are the elderly. Unfortunately, I mean, that's just, it seems to be the target.
I apologize, I need to make a correction. I just looked up the staff report. It's actually 10 automated of the flock
16
cameras.
now.
10. So we can, and so there were some decisions there, so we can take a look and see if there's some other additional locations that, with additional funding, we would add.
And I think because that covers a broader area, I know 100 people might come out, 150 for the catalytic converters, but if there's something more to actually help catch these people when they're en route or just leaving someplace, I think there's a bigger benefit to the city.
Well, those flock cameras, they don't know that a person driving by there has committed a crime.
If
They
there's,
would have to be, we use
Have to
those after
input.
the fact, more or less, don't we? If we're following someone who is suspected of committing a crime, that will show us where they are and what type of car they're in.
Well, I
but-
think if I remember, if someone knew it was a black Camaro,
correct.
Yeah, we
then-
would be able
then
to
the-
watch them and follow them.
then they
But
can
don't
look
they
it up,
like
right?
catch stolen cars? If a plate comes out, it's stolen, they will let you guys know.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And it can give, as Mayor Mann is saying, there's some level of description of the vehicle, and the flock camera can track that. You just don't need the entire license plate. You can get partial plates. You can get some key identifiers in terms of the vehicle itself. And that's where, as Deputy Bowie noted, on some of our investigations, and I think I've reported to you before, where we actually caught some people in the act as well. But it definitely is well known. And additionally, our flock camera system is linked with our fellow jurisdictions around us as well. So the flock camera system that's in Arcadia and Rosemead all interlink. So there is conductivity between all of the flock cameras that are around it. So we're not a donut hole in this part of the San Gabriel Valley. We're actually part of a broader network.
What are the camera systems that they have? I know in Britain, I've seen them there, in other parts of Europe and in China. It's like there's a camera every place. And I read all these novels where they talk about that, but they're very effective because, they anticipate crimes and stuff like that.
The cameras that you see at the locations, including Rosemead and Pentland, Rosemead and Catilla, Rosemead at Temple City Boulevard and Lower Azusa, and several others, those cameras you see are our flock camera system.
Although, one of the things we have to keep in mind is that we're not China, and at some point, somebody's gonna bring a First Amendment lawsuit if we start putting up cameras on every corner.
Right.
So there's a little bit of a
Well, until they get
trade-off.
caught.
Yeah, but,
But
You
not
know.
all cameras are flock cameras, though.
No.
How do we do it? And we use a lot of traffic control cameras. So those are not flock cameras.
Don't they have CCTV also?
No, the flock camera system, that's the reason why staff recommended the flock camera system, because of some of the safeguards that they have regarding some of the privacy issues and other things as well, the storage and other factors, and that's why the flock camera system is used pretty much, it's become the kind of the gold standard in terms of this type of system, because as we vetted it to some of the privacy concerns, use of data, that kind of thing.
And technology is changing so quickly. I mean, probably by the flock cameras, there's probably gonna be something that's even better than a flock camera, or So if there's something that's out there that might seem innovative that we can do, bring that idea back to us.
I will, ma'am.
Yeah, and along the lines of that thought, I think we talk a lot, I think we focus a lot on residential, and for obvious reasons, we're predominantly residential. But just in the past couple of months, I know the captain and our deputies have engaged with our business communities on a variety of occasions. But perhaps in the same kind of request is there something that our businesses aren't doing that you think they should be doing? And maybe could be a list of things that we can circulate to our businesses, because our business corridor is really confined to certain areas, so we're unique in that sense. It's not large and taking up the majority of the city, but sometimes half the battle is just making sure people have the right information about what they should or shouldn't do. We might take it for granted, or like, you know, Deputy Bowie, your team are the experts in it, so you know it like the back of your hand, but for some maybe new store owners, new businesses, they might not be aware of some of the things that you think that all business owners should do.
Always education.
Yeah.
It's always the education of know your surroundings, what you should do, put your stuff out. Just like what we do in our neighborhood watches is pretty much emphasizing all the stuff, because that's mainly all the criminal activity that's going on in our city. So those are the key points of our Part 1 crimes that are constantly happening when you can see it happening all the time. So that's why we try to just educate and just keep on pushing that education for more people to come and listen and understand it.
I know we're not there as far as comments yet, but I think kind of related to the discussion and where it's going. And I know that the recommendation is, or there's not really any recommendation per se other than to kind of give direction, but I feel that we, the staff, needs to perhaps engage a little bit more with our sheriff department to determine what types of crimes maybe we should focus on that are happening in our city, and what we can do to prevent those from a partnership type of programming, both business and residential. So I'm glad that this has come up and has got us to think, but I think before we can make any final decision on public safety programming, we need to hear from our public safety officers to kind of tell us, because they're the experts, and what areas that we need to focus on, whether it be fraud, burglaries, whatever the case may be. And what we don't have to focus on, because it's not a problem here. So, I mean, I just think that that's the direction we should be moving on. And like I said, it sounds like we have programs already coming up, and but more to follow, and so.
You know, I have an app on my phone and I need to use it more. It's called Find My Phone, and you can find, and there's one similar for Find My Car. But I met a person last week who doesn't use a cell phone, a senior, but had a little device that she bought on Amazon, and basically she said it was $26 or something. And it just, you press it, you beep it when you lock your car. And then if you can't recall where you left your car, you beep it again, and it basically keeps beeping towards where your car is. Something, looked like the size of a beeper.
Like a proximity
Well, maybe
sensor?
that's something that we could look into as far as subsidies go.
Something like that, because, you know, my mind's always going at full speed, and I literally forget where I park every day if I'm someplace, unless I make a note, like where am I, and then I'll press Find My Phone, and it helps me. But sometimes, I mean, very few times.
What if your phone's not in your car?
But or if you don't have your phone, or it's dead or something. But you could put this little apparatus on your key ring, and so then it's with you. Because I think one of the things is when people are lost, especially seniors, and you're looking around, it seems like that's an opportune time for someone who's up to no good in a shopping mall at a busy holiday season or something to.
Well, don't all the newer cars already have that?
I don't know, but
My
I
car
mean, not
doesn't.
everybody
My
has a
car
new
beeps and
car.
the lights go on in the car.
Yeah, mine does too.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't have that in my car.
It's an
You get a new
older
car?
I do need a new car. I just don't want to pay for it. But I mean, I think there's things like that that might be of assistance to help our seniors be a little bit more safe. Maybe, I don't know, do seniors carry, what's that spray called?
Pepper spray?
Pepper spray.
Pepper spray, is that still allowed?
It is, but generally speaking, there's usually some training that there's training that goes with it, and,
But, yeah, and I don't disagree, but I think to Mayor Mann's point, it seems like we're always focusing on the residents, the seniors. We can't forget about their businesses, and we've had some recent crimes with our businesses, and maybe that's something we can partner with the chamber with as well, get their feedback. There's always a lot to do, but it's a good start.
All right, well, I want to make sure we open the public comment before we take this any further, so thank you, Deputy Bowie, for your help. Is there anyone who would like to address the City Council on this item? All right, seeing none, I will close the public comment and come back to maybe final council comments or directions that they would like to see. So we'll start with Councilmember Viscara.
Seems like we're all over the map. I'm not sure where we want to head with this thing.
Yeah, I think maybe to help everyone here, at least in the report, staff is bringing to us a seminar that they're planning to host, and according to City Manager Cook, sometime in February, probably,
Yes.
tentatively speaking. And then secondly is the catalytic converter event. And then, of course, in the course of our discussion, there's been a host of other ideas. So maybe I would suggest is we focus on the two in a staff report and then provide some kind of general direction or ideas for staff to bring back more items for us to consider in a future report.
And work with our deputy.
And work with our deputies and our captain to brainstorm more on assembling additional items. So before us tonight, I would say let's focus on the seminar for identity theft and the second. So basically, would you be support the staff report on the identity theft and the catalytic converter?
Yeah. In fact, I'd point out that I think before any of you guys were here, we had a seminar on identity theft from the sheriffs. It was really well done. It was when the awareness on this stuff first started with the computers and everything else. I took so much away from that. I went out and bought a shredder right away because he was telling us that you can't leave anything that can identify any of your accounts or whatever. And you need to shred it, and I've been doing it ever since. I learned a lot of stuff like that. Same thing with alarms, and I think he even brought a bear spray or something, for the bad guys, and especially ladies should carry it. Anyway, it was very good, very well done, and it can be made very interesting, so it relates to you. So I'm fully supportive.
Okay. Thank you. Councilmember Yu?
Likewise, I'm very supportive, and thank you to Mr. Cook for bringing this item back. I'm supportive of both the items and also, the flock cameras, but in particular, just the whole notion of working with our experts here, our sheriff's department and our public safety staff for the latest and greatest ideas.
All right. Thank you. Councilmember Sternquist, and anything else you would like to add?
I appreciate staff's recommendation, and I think that would be the best option, do that, and then move forward with the other ideas coming forward.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Chavez?
Thank you. Yeah, I agree. I think, to kind of quote our former council member Bloom, we used to like to say low-hanging fruit here.
Yeah.
Certainly the catalytic converter program and the proposed identity theft and shredding program seem to be low-hanging fruit for us at this point to move forward with, so I agree with that. But I think City Manager Cook has taken good notes and knows the other areas that maybe we might want to look into. And I would even maybe add this item to or can we add this item to the agenda for the monthly sheriff meeting to maybe get their idea and maybe discuss it a little bit more at that, or can we do that, or?
Sure. It's a special meeting that
You know,
can
because
discuss.
that way it's who we want to talk to. We've got the sheriffs, we got a good collection of people who may give their opinion on what areas that we need to look at in particular.
Try to get it on maybe the December
Yeah,
meeting.
whatever. I think, any of the sooner the better. Unfortunately, technology is a great thing, but I've always said it creates more opportunity for crime and theft and everything else. It's just an unfortunate byproduct of that great, the greatness or the good things that come out of technology. So yeah, I think this has been a good discussion tonight, and I think we've come up with some good ideas and some things to move forward, but certainly support what staff is recommending at this point.
Maybe we help the Humane Society and we get seniors pets. Clear the shelters and dogs that bark and perspective
We never hear from them.
problems.
Yeah, that's another-
They're in the midst of a capital campaign, so we
Yeah,
might
okay.
be hearing from them soon.
All right.
Thank
and,
you.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. And just to maybe segue from Mayor Pro Tem's last point, I think for our November sheriff's meeting, which is next Wednesday, I would like you to actually put it as an item just to report out. I know
Will do.
I'm pretty sure Deputy Bowie will tell our phenomenal team about tonight's discussion, but I would like it at least on
We'll put it
an
on.
official item that you can report out at the beginning of the meeting before the presentation.
Most certainly.
So that way it's on everyone's radar.
We'll do.
Secondly, I would, I just lost my thought. Well, regarding the business item, I think again, I agree with Mayor Pro Tem. That's something we should engage our chamber on. I will make sure that at the next board meeting, I will mention that to them as well as something of concern. And I know they've worked with our captain on at least one event before, so whatever we come up with collectively is certainly something we can approach them. They are supposed to be the outreach arm to our business community, so what better way to convey information than through them. And I want to make sure that Councilmember Yu's point on the consideration of additional flock camera locations is part of that. Of course, we're not going to make any decisions. That's got to be based on data and, of course, any recommendations from our subject matter experts here before we jump to that conclusion. And then lastly, this is kind of I don't know if this exists. I almost want to say that some agency has already developed this, but I don't know what the pros and cons are. But you know how we send out the Nixo blasts, our crime blotters for crime? I don't know if it's a good or bad idea to look into the possibility of developing some kind of like a GIS interface related to that. It's like a it's like you can look at it on a map, basically, instead of just like a list of things. Yeah, but I'm almost certain like the sheriff's probably has something, but perhaps there's some like legal angle that I'm just not aware of. So maybe that's something that maybe it's just a tool that the sheriff's is already using. But I know there's already some sites that I don't know that are managed, who it's managed by or administered by, that have a similar like feature. So I think where I'm coming from is more of are we going to rely on these unverified sources to do these types of reporting, or can we keep the source close to like the legitimate sort of authority, so to speak, right?
Mayor, do you mean the GIS information on the place of crime, or what do you mean by GIS? What?
Yeah, of sort of the locations.
I think there are like privacy reasons and perhaps that we may not want to disclose it.
Well, it's, I know that
Especially
our
ongoing
blotters don't
investigation,
don't give addresses, it's more of a general area.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's, again, very conceptual. I'm not saying it's a good or bad idea. It's just something that I've seen exist on third-party platforms, and I know people use it, but you know, it's the same issue I have with certain platforms like Nextdoor is you don't know if you can trust that information. I mean, I don't. But if I'm getting a crime blotter from the sheriffs, I know I can trust that information, right? So that's kind of the difference. And then also along the lines of subsidies, I don't know if, I know in a lot of our neighborhood watch meetings when we talk about protecting your homes, we talk about lighting. Is that something that could be done? I don't know if that's proper or appropriate, but sometimes lighting makes all the difference. And I don't know what the cost of some of these floodlights or exterior lighting is. I know some of these ring type of cameras come with a light where if there's a motion, the light turns on and it records. So that's probably more useful in certain circumstances than just your default doorbell. So in terms of potential ways we can subsidize things that our residents can be empowered to take to enhance their own public safety.
The Ring program has that already, where they, are you talking about like if they motion detectors with lights that go on?
Right, but those are not cheap though.
No, they're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
inexpensive at all.
Yeah, no, because what Mr. Cook was referring to was when we did this Ring subsidy program, even the base model was over $100-something,
Yeah.
and so the city subsidy actually did make a difference in impacting whether or not people wanted to purchase it. So is maybe one of the next tier or next steps is this enhanced version of that.
Okay.
So maybe we could look into a possibility of
Just
that.
FYI, there are a lot of the motion lights in this town. And I said, Cindy, you must see them when you walk your dogs at night. We're setting them off all the time as we go through neighborhoods, some more so than others.
Yeah, sometimes the sensitivity setting on that is maybe a little too far.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
When
sometimes you
somebody
have,
can talk to you, you're on my property or something.
oh, I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, there's some other-
You are being recorded. That's the one at the
Yeah, they
corner,
talk to you,
it
yeah.
says.
I had one quick follow-up, if you don't mind.
Sure,
I
yeah.
don't mean to interrupt you. That gunshot detection I was talking about earlier in Pasadena, it's called the Shot Spotter System. And it was approved by the Pasadena City Council about a year ago. And basically, the sensors triangulate the sound and pinpoint the location of the gunfire. The location can be determined within a minute of when the gunfire occurs and communicated to police officers. Sounds like a pretty interesting program. I may want to, I mean, I truthfully don't believe we got that problem necessarily in Temple City. I don't know how expensive it is but I just thought it was kind of interesting that is another crime prevention tool, I guess you could say. And I don't think many cities are using that. I know Pasadena may be still the only city in LA County that uses it. I don't know, but.
LAPD uses it.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
Well,
the
that's
city though, I mean, so, anyway.
I wonder if it works on July 4th.
Yeah, that's well, apparently the program can differentiate between fireworks and bullet shots, so, I mean, I
That's
can't, but,
interesting, yeah.
yeah, anyway, sorry
All
about
right,
that.
well, no,
Go ahead.
thanks for sharing. Yeah. All right, in any case, I don't think we need a motion to wrap this item up, right?
I think I've gotten direction, sir.
Yeah, because I think really this was more of an open discussion for council, and there's been a lot said already. So I want to thank council for all the great ideas, and our Deputy Bowie for helping us out, and of course, city staff for coming up with a staff report and the recommendations. All right, next we'll move on to item 11, update from our city manager.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the council. Just a reminder, Lights on Temple City is a little earlier this year just because of when the first Friday of December, it will be next Friday. 7 p.m. All of you will be in the parade, and we look forward to a nice crowd out there.
Wait, it's next Friday already?
The following, actually,
A week from this Friday?
a week from this Friday,
Oh,
yes.
goodness. Wow.
So yes, excited for Lights on Temple City to take effect and enjoy the holiday season.
Heard one on motorcycles this
And then we will follow up with the items that were just discussed as part of this item, and then as Mayor Mann noted, I will report that out so that members of the public who are there and any follow-up items that we have as well. So that's all for my report tonight, sir.
Okay, thank you. Any update from our city attorney, Mr. Murphy?
No update tonight, Mr. Mayor. Just wish you all a happy Thanksgiving.
All right. Thank you. Same to you. All right, next we have council reports regarding ad hoc or standing committee meetings. Do we have any reports? Okay, none. Next, council items separate from the regular agenda, starting with Councilmember Sternquist.
Just one item. I attended the 7 a.m. mosquito meeting this past Friday, and we had a report that the first case of dengue fever was reported in California that wasn't related to travel. And it's a really interesting, we had a really interesting presentation. It's about 5 pages long. So I'm going to send it to Brian. He can put it on the city website in case anyone is interested in seeing exactly what the symptoms are. The district spent about $56,000 on a rapid response team that actually went out within a 5-mile radius of where the person was bitten in the San Gabriel Valley. And they went on to 152 properties where people allowed them to go onto the properties. And they sprayed and took samples. So just be very aware if you know that you've gotten bit by a mosquito and you feel sick, have fever, rash, nauseous, that you should go to the hospital and let them know that you're having these symptoms and that you were bitten by a mosquito.
Can you die from that?
You can die from dengue fever, yes. 1 out of 4 people who get infected with a mosquito, by an infected mosquito, get these symptoms. And out of that 1 out of 4, there is an 80% chance that you could die from dengue fever. So, yeah, and you never know what kind of mosquito you're getting bit by. There's Alopictus, there's Aedes, so there are different varieties of mosquitoes. So the best thing is to do is just don't keep water. I can't preach that enough about keeping standing water. And if you have pet bowls outside, dump them out twice a day.
I thought mosquitoes didn't like cold weather.
They don't do as well in cold weather. So when it gets colder, but this weather, we have 2 days nice and then we get colder weather in the evening. But as long as it's still above 75 degrees, they're pretty viable. So anyway, but I'll have Brian put that presentation on, and it talks all about the symptoms and what you can do, and there's maps that actually show where they went out and sprayed, so it's interesting. Okay, that's it.
All right, thank you. Next, Councilmember Viscara.
Nothing tonight.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Yu.
Likewise, just happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yep, happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Chavez.
Thank you. Just a quick shout out to the staff and those responsible for putting together last week's commissioners' dinner. I thought it was
So
a
nice.
great event, and it was good to see all of our commissioners there and their families. And, we don't get a chance always to see them, and it was nice, and food was great, and good way to celebrate. And I think it was a good time of the year to do it also. Thank you for
Good food.
good food. Women's Club, thank you for hosting it, or how long is the host it there. It was a good venue as well. So, good event. So thank you.
And the Women's Club turns out to be a nice partnership that we have.
Yeah, I think it
I mean,
has.
Historical Society, I guess.
Well,
but it's-
both, I think.
But,
Yeah.
yeah, because they're on top of setting up tables and doing whatever we need, and so that works out really well for us.
Also, just a request, just because of our discussion tonight, it got brought up the senior meal program. We don't seem to be getting a lot of notices or maybe invitations, and maybe, I know they occasionally have special events like for the holidays or something like that. We used to, in the past, be invited personally to those things, and maybe we could kind of start that again and maybe have Ruby, just kind of give us a quick, it's difficult for many of us to go because we're working during the day, but it would be nice to kind of get a heads up on maybe a special Christmas event or like this event with the YWCA, things like that.
Sure.
So maybe just kind of let her
I'll
know.
remind Ms. Ramos.
All right, I appreciate it. And that's it, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I also want to second the well-put together dinner for our Commissioners Appreciation Evening, and thank you to all council for being there. I think it was great for us to show strong support for our commissioners. They do a lot for us, and they are volunteers. So I want to reiterate how important they are to the city and the city council. I also want to say how well the Veterans Day celebration went. Kudos to city staff for putting that together. Also want to thank Pastor James Patterson again for being the keynote speaker. He certainly got the crowd into it, so which was nice. We had good weather, and also, speaking of senior lunch, I happened to speak with a couple of ladies who do attend ours at the Veterans event, who happen to attend our senior lunch regularly. So they were happy to meet me. And one of the things that kind of came up from that was, I don't know how the conversation brought up, but they asked me if I knew how to play mahjong, and I said I haven't played that in years. And then the idea came up, well, maybe we could do like a mahjong with the mayor. So I don't know. I'll just throw that out there. I'll be willing to do that if the seniors are up to it. Obviously, no money. It's just a game. But maybe check with Director Matsumoto if there's room for that. I will be more than happy.
Checkers with the vice mayor.
Yeah, there you go.
Checkers with the vice
We would, that program seems to have grown quite a bit. I wasn't aware that we were 100 persons. Is that
And
daily or?
it's been more even before.
It has grown definitely in since a lot of the members of the public who are using the delivery service.
Home delivery.
Many
We
have
don't
come
have the
back.
home delivery anymore, do we?
No, we do not. The grant, the funding that YWCA uses is specifically for at service. There's another program that does for homebound deliveries, which this wasn't a homebound delivery. This was more of convenience out of COVID. Once we got out of the emergency, then that funding went away for YWCA so that they're specifically on site. But no, we've seen probably a stronger turnout than we anticipated, especially in the last 3 to 4 months.
So anyway, and kind of that's why I thought it was great that you brought it up, because that was something that they had
We
talked
used
to
to
me
go to those
talked to me
events.
about.
Roman used to.
Roman used to send us out.
Yeah, you're right. I do remember
I'll remind
that
Ms.
was more
Ramos.
regular.
Problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get free lunch.
All right,
Actually
and
free, but-
and
It's a
finally,
donation.
I do want to just say wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, and I know it's a time for family. I just want to say, on a personal note, that with great gratitude, that it's such a pleasure for me to serve, and I'm sure I speak on behalf of my council colleagues as well. So in a season of gratitude, I think for us, service is, we each have our own personal calling to this, but at the same time, we should remain humble and be grateful that this is a unique opportunity that we get to serve the city that we love.
And I'm grateful for all of you, because it's such a pleasure to serve and work with such great colleagues, so.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And also the gratitude extends to our city manager
And our
and
city
all of our
attorney.
staff.
Well, I don't know about
Staff.
that.
Our sheriff?
Our pastor.
Mayor Pro Tem
Yeah,
Chavez
everyone.
disagrees.
Our sheriff.
Group hug.
Our churches,
Yeah.
you know.
It's, because I know it's something that we should say more often. And maybe, I think as a council, I hear kudos to the rest of council for really doing that on a very frequent basis. So I just want to toot everyone's horn here a little bit. All right, so we'll move on to the next item, which is additional public comments on items not listed. Is there anyone who would wish to address the city council at this time? All right, seeing none, we are adjourned for the evening. Good night.
Thank you.